What is the answer to why ancient Egypt suddenly began constructing pyramids? Tritium. Many people believe that aliens came to Earth, did a bunch of really crazy shit, and then left the world to wonder. This presentation begins the process of unwinding just what happened in ancient Egypt. A passing starship was running low in fuel, but unfortunately a gas station for tritium was still thousands of years away. Tritium has a half-life of just 14 years, so no tritium is anywhere on the Earth to be found. Even today, the commercial demand for tritium is 400 grams per year and the cost is $30,000 per gram and requires a nuclear reactor to produce. So all of the crazy shit of Egypt might come down to a bucket of water. Tritium is produced in nuclear reactors by neutron activation of lithium. A starship probably can't land, so to produce tritium the ancients had knowledge and not much else. Let's start out by acquiring some lithium. Near the Nile River, they're in a most unusual of places called the Serapeum of Saqqara. The first man to find the Serapeum was Auguste Mariette, who entered the underground complex using dynamite to find 20 huge 70-ton stone boxes with 30-ton lids. Finding the boxes unopened, pried open lid. Then let's scream. With his lungs burning and his lungs grasping for breath he recovered himself for 20 minutes, then they went down again with wet cloths around their faces. What happened were all sarcophagus were filled up to the lid with bitumen and apparently ammonia. Bitumen is natural asphalt. The stinking mass of bitumen was brought up to the desert. Inside they found thousands of small broken and splintered bones. But no mummy or treasure. The 100-ton boxes each hold 3,000 gallons and successfully stayed sealed for 5,000 years. If the bitumen was similar to shale oil, the pitch would contain lithium. Lithium can be leached out of oil with ammonia. The word ammonia is based on the name of the Egyptian god Ammon. The lithium in the ammonia is then absorbed by the microstructure of the collagen on the bone. Had Auguste Mariette dissolved the bone in vinegar, he would have recovered maybe 5 pounds of lithium from a ton of bone scraps. The reason the lids were so heavy is to contain pressure. The lid would provide 500 millimeters of pressure per square inch. Granite has issues with ammonia, as do granite countertops. The granite boxes appear to be treated with a chemical sealer which makes it darker than rose granite. Other boxes are made of diorite which appeared to have not needed a sealer. Diorite is an especially hard stone. Egypt used diorite balls to work granite, because it was harder than granite. To make boxes out of diorite seems especially difficult. The 20 boxes were kept cool by placing them underground, with the base of the box inset into the bedrock, likely with a reflecting pool above ground. Now that we have lithium, now we need deuterium. Hydrogen has 3 naturally occurring isotopes: hydrogen, deuterium, tritium. The difference is that the nucleus of the hydrogen atom, common hydrogen, also known as protium, has 1 proton. Deuterium has 1 proton and 1 neutron, due for 2. Tritium has 1 proton and 2 neutrons, tri for 3. Hydrogen atoms without neutrons are the most common form. Only 0.02% of hydrogen is deuterium. Deuterium can be concentrated from water with electrolyses. Because the deuterium water separates easier than heavy water. To get 1 gallon of deuterium, 5,000 gallons of water needs to be processed. A garden hose flows 6 gallons per minute, so it would take 14 hours and 5,000 gallons of water to acquire 1 gallon of deuterium. At the end of the year the net might be 200 gallons. Of course these are just work units. A larger machine might make 1,000 gallons or 10,000 gallons, it all comes down to scale. The bigger the better. Size has physical limits. At some point, when one big machine can't be built big enough, then a second, third, or more can be constructed. A deuterium concentrator is an electrolysis machine which vents off the hydrogen and oxygen and replenished the water. Many have said that the Great Pyramids look like power plants. If it is a power plant, then where is the output? Where are the devices that use the power? One image of maybe a light bulb? If the pyramids are power generators, then they are consuming all of its own energy. During WW2, the destruction of just 125 gallons of heavy water prevented Hitler from getting the bomb. Basic pyramid design have a subterranean chamber and an above-ground chamber connected with a passage. This is the basic electrolysis machine. The lower chamber is ground and the upper positive, with the static electricity of the desert as a power source. While hydrogen and oxygen are generated, there are no obvious usage of the gas. Deuterium isn't tritium. But it's a start. To make tritium, we still need a nuclear reactor. Don't we? While uranium isn't available, granite is. If New York's Grand Central Station was a nuclear power plant, it would lose its license because it is too radioactive. But the reason Grand Central Station is still open is that it just isn't that radioactive. So it is going to take a shit ton of granite, and I mean a shit ton. The King's Chamber is constructed of 8,000 tons of granite. If the King's Chamber was its own building, it would be 8 stories tall. The granite in the King's Chamber weighs as much as a full freight locomotive. As much as 3 Saturn V rockets. The King's Chamber is built as a resonant chamber for neutrons. Each of the 1,000-ton ceilings has the granite polished facing down and rough facing up. This is because the granite will shed neutrons more often on off the polished side and absorbed by the rough side of the one below, till the fully enclosed polished granite room with a polished granite box. The pyramid is 6.5 million tons. Okay, I can't even come up with a comparison of 6.5 million tons. One effect of piling 6.5 million tons on bedrock is radon gas. The pyramid is basically a closed system, so radon would fill 4 granite fill chambers, adding to the radioactivity. Producing tritium. This is where things get tricky. The Queen's Chamber in ascending passage is seeded with deuterium, so it is assumed that large percentage of the hydrogen processed is heavy, while the other pyramid's output is heavy water. The Great Pyramid, while also an electrolysis machine, its function is to convert deuterium into tritium. The system functions by the repeated electrolysis of water for its hydrogen. The hydrogen floats in a room, getting bombarded by neutrons, with lithium somewhere in the room. Deuterium is heavy hydrogen, so when it floats in the room, it tends to float lower in the hydrogen in the room. Tritium is even heavier than deuterium, so when it floats in the room, it would float lower than the deuterium. Same is true for the water. Water is lighter than heavy water, while tritium water is heavier than heavy water. The water to be collected in the sarcophagus will undergo a process of collecting the heaviest of the heaviest. The magic of the system was the DJED. Imagine the day. After 50 years, millions of tons of rock moved. Comes the day to erect the DJED. Everything comes down to this moment. But the DJED was far from magical. The DJED is a catalytic converter. Much like the catalytic converter on your car. A mixed platinum of palladium existed in ancient Egypt. We know this since a person at a museum was admiring the nice silver inlay, and realized silver should be tarnished and gone. When tested, it showed to be a mix of platinum and palladium. So a small amount of platinum is not magic. As the hydrogen fills the room from the top, the lowest gas would be tritium. The DJED column has several functions. The upper structure is probably where the lithium is located, as it would be high in the room filled with deuterium. The rings are collection spots with platinum, where the top ring is active, but over years, dirt, oxidation, or whatever fouls the ring, the hydrogen will reach the one below it, and so on and so on. The platinum serve 2 functions. The primary function is to collect tritium. Neutrons in the tritium nucleus increase the attractive strong nuclear force when brought close enough to another atomic nucleus. As a result, the tritium will more actively be catalyzed by the platinum. It is like a slippery slope with flat-soled shoes. The tritium will most easily slide into the trap. The secondary function is as an ignition source. As the room fills with gas, the last thing desired is to simply dump it away, so instead the hydrogen is ignited to produce water and allow the room to refill with hydrogen again. The ignition of the hydrogen does not destroy any deuterium or tritium, So if the primary process did not collect the tritium this cycle, it will have many more opportunities. The ignition itself is fairly low energy, especially after the first ignition. Many people think of a hydrogen explosion as like an atomic bomb. Nope. Although we might get an occasional tiny nuclear fusion. Many remember hydrogen balloons in school going bang. Nope. Many of those were mixed with oxygen, which made a very loud pop. The combustion would be more like the Hindenburg. A relaxed burning of hydrogen gas seeking oxygen to ignite with. The hydrogen would seek oxygen right out the portcullis. The combustion has a piezonuclear effect on the granite. Like 8,000 tons of granite being hit by a big wooden mallet. This would create a neutron bombardment simultaneous with combustion process. Following combustion, the room backfills with air along with unburned hydrogen and nitrogen. The Grand Gallery condenses any steam back into water. Unburned hydrogen in the Grand Gallery would be burned off during the exhaust process. Each cycle, like drawing a thin oil slick off the top of a puddle, the dejet collects drops after drop of precious tritium to further be refined in then granite box. 1 gallon of water will produce 165 cubic feet of hydrogen. The King's chamber is 590 square feet. So it would take 3.5 gallons of water to produce enough hydrogen to fill the room 1 foot. The room is 19 feet tall. So at least 10 feet of hydrogen or 35 gallons of water would exist before combustion. For 5,000 gallons to be processed, 142 combustion cycles will occur, or 1 combustion cycle every 3 to 10 minutes 24 hours a day. All day long, would be heard the breath of Neff. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. At night would be seen the rays of Osiris. The first and brightest flash from the vent shaft from combustion would illuminate a pointer to Orion, and microsecond later a dimmer pointer to the North Star. The Great Pyramid shows signs that at least once having the tritium content removed and the system reset. Because there are clear signs that after somebody broke in, they performed seemingly superficial gypsum repairs, which only make sense for sealing hydrogen and water. So within the span of 100 years, tritium water is loaded up and the starship leaves. Leaving behind what they brought. Knowledge. Farming. Irrigation. Written language. The first synthetic pigment, Egyptian blue. Ammonia. The oldest piece of wrought iron known. And mysteries. All for a bucket of water.